Hello, this is Sith Spawn, and I am doing a Let's Play of Roma Surrectum 2, a mod of Rome Total War, and I will be playing as Pontus. So, let's begin. I'm not going to read all this. You can if you play it, but it's kind of long. Okay, I will put Manage All Settlements on. No battle time limit. I'm going to play on Hard. Turn advice off. You only need advice for the script on this, and that pops up automatically when you start. And the victories conditions are hold 60 settlements including Pontus. So, not too complicated there. Let's begin. Sorry if you heard me drumming there. Bad habit. Try not to do that during the Let's Play. That would probably get pretty annoying. Summer 94 Seleucid area. Let us fight every people on Earth but avoid civil war. Aristotle. Alright. Got kind of some long loading times here, so let's just get past this and we can get started. For anyone who hasn't played this mod, it is by far my favorite mod for Rome Total War. I've played plenty of others, and there are very many good mods for this game, but Roma Surrectum 2 is just amazing. As you'll see, it has incredible graphics compared to just about every other Rome Total War mod out there, both in the campaign and battle map. And they just have way more detail in every aspect. For example, now that I'm kind of on here, I will try to really walk you through a tiny bit of the changes before I get too deep into the campaign. We'll go to Amasia, my capital here. And one thing you might notice is I start out with a gigantic public order as well as a, not a huge one here yet, decent income. But later on you'll see some pretty crazy numbers most likely. It's not uncommon to see some of your better cities go into the tens of thousands of denarii in income. But as you can see here, there is a buttload of buildings available, and it really doesn't seem to get smaller. The more you build, the more it's available for the most part, especially later on when your cities get high level. And that's pretty cool. They're really almost completely unique from the vanilla Rome Total War game. I can't think of much that's similar. Roads is kind of stuck there, and basically everything else has changed. Even if something is similar, it'll work differently. And I could keep talking, but for now let's just get started, and I will kind of talk about things as we run into them so I don't bore you here. Also, really quickly, as you can see from here, you have a lot more unit variety alongside the building variety. So let's kind of take stock of what I have here. I have Standing Army here under Heracles, family member. Not really any commander influence, a little bit of management, so nothing special. But he has some Thurgatian Thoroughfoy, some archers, and some other infantry, and anything of cavalry archers. Roxolani Lancers, actually. They're pretty decent heavy cav as well as just horse archers. And over at Trapezus, I have Pharnaces and my successor with a few troops, and in Amasia, my faction leader with all my elite troops. So I'll kind of get an army put together here, do a little scouting with my spy, and we will get started. I'm probably, Mazaka will be my first target likely. And as you notice, by now most likely, the rebels, or the free cities as they're called in this mod, start out with very large armies in almost all of the cities, and really actively make troops and even attack you. Sometimes the rebels will make empires and destroy factions, so they're not quite as passive as they were in the other Total War games, and you actually have to pay attention to them. So, alright, I'm going to make my army here. We'll put both these units of Throkatai in there, and if I get pronunciation wrong, feel free to tell me, and I will try to correct it, but I kind of just say things how I say things. For now, I have no problem learning and changing them, but I'm probably not going to say everything right. And yes, if you notice, I'm kind of doing this strangely. I'm OCD, so I like everything to be kind of neat and even. Sorry if that annoys you, but that's kind of just the way I am. I'm going to leave these... I'll take the chunks bites. They're my elite pikemen, phalangites in the Greek Macedonian style. And I don't have any other real phalangites actually to supplement them, so I'm probably actually going to... Oh, I do actually, those two levy pikemen, so that'll be the middle of my army's front line. Kind of just take all the infantry I can. I can't really make a uniform army yet at the beginning. They give you a huge smorgasbord of units to begin with, I guess, which really isn't too bad because you start out with so many available to you. This really lets you get a taste for what you can use throughout the game. Maybe find units you like. Slingers are amazing in this mod, by the way, so I can definitely bring some of them along. I have 6 unit slots left, so I think I need some, definitely need some cavalry, maybe a range unit or two besides them. So I'll bring these archers, these Roxolani lancers. I've got a couple units of skirmish cav, and a couple units of heavy cav as well as one more unit of horse archers. So I will definitely bring, how many units else do I have left? 4. I'll just bring everything except for those horse archers. And you might notice I'm not using my faction leader, and that is for good reason, even though it may go against what you might consider common sense, since he has a giant command bonus. And the reason for that is I tend to massacre the cities I capture to make them easier to hold, but that will give your faction leader and factionaire very bad traits, and the people will hate them, and you will lose money, places will be less happy. Basically, it's just bad. So I'd still do it on occasion, but using I guess, faction leader and factionaire generals against cities that you're going to massacre is a good practice, as it will keep your economy healthy, which the economic system is quite unique in this mod. It really doesn't bear much resemblance to what you found in vanilla. You actually have to work a lot for your money. You don't get it for free, and it doesn't just build endlessly. And if you get too much, the background script in this mod will actually take money away from you. So I guess spend it, don't build it up. And let's see, I'm going to try to get trade rights with the Greeks, and that's all for now. Not going to worry about an alliance because I'm going to attack them fairly soon, and I'm not going to worry about map information because it will cost way too much. I don't want to spend all my money on that early on. They're all scattered anyways. They're everywhere. I think they actually start out as the largest faction, but they're so spread out that they tend to lose a lot of their settlements to the more concentrated nations around them. And really quickly, I think I will begin by building communal tribute, which this is a tax building tree, which basically represents more organized taxation besides just lowering the actual tax levels. It represents the infrastructure behind the tax collection, and there's, I think, 4 or 5 different levels of it. The building browser is huge and doesn't even show some of the buildings you can build, especially the military ones, because it's just too much. So yeah, 4 levels of that. Now, like I said, it greatly increases your tax income, which is, in this mod, the real backbone of your economy. Trade, mining, and farming take a backseat. You can build them up, but it'll start out with mainly taxes. But it takes a big hit to your public order. So it has to be a very well-developed town before you can really afford to extend your taxes. And really quickly, I'm going to end the turn here. Sorry I'm talking so much. This is my first Let's Play, so it'll get better. Sorry if I bore you. Feel free to leave me comments. So yeah, you can see Amasia really jumped up in income, and I didn't even put it to high taxes. I could put it to very high, but according to the mod developers, that will really mess up your economy in the long run. It'll still look like you're getting more money, but eventually it'll kind of drain your resources, your people's money, I guess, as it would make sense. I mean, if you tax your people as high as you can for a long period of time, eventually you'll take all their money. So that kind of is an accurate historical representation right there. I didn't build anything here last time. It was kind of just... I'm used to not building much in the first turn because you don't make a lot of money, but what I just built here was a small shrine to Ares, and this unlocks the entire temple tree in your towns, and unlike the original Roman Total War, you can build many temples in your towns, and they are not mutually exclusive. If you build one, you're not locked out of the others. They all help you in different ways, so it's good to get those built up as quickly as possible. I think I'm going to go ahead and wait this out just a couple turns to weaken them a little bit. I'm not going to wait until they sally out because sometimes, unfortunately, this mod can get a little glitchy and your units will scatter and run in all directions, so I'll try to keep these first few turns moving quickly.
Awaiting your command.
And I'll just basically, most of what I'll be doing is building
and
sending my diplomat around to get map information or trade rights. Probably not map information, as I explained earlier. I don't know why I said that. But anyways, as you can see, I am in Pergamon's territory. I have not found Pergamon itself yet. I think it might be like right here. We'll find it next turn.